afternoon, everybody.
How's
I'd
that?
like to call the Thursday, February 20th, 2025 full board meeting to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item is Invocation by Commissioner Phil Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please bow your heads. We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. Amen.
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 Next is adoption of the agenda and a motion to
Romano
adopt.
adopts the agenda.
Moved by Romano, supported by Wallace. Seeing no changes to the agenda, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next is approval of minutes, full board minutes dated January 23rd, 2025, and the closed session minutes. Need a motion to approve.
So move, Wallace.
Support Perna.
Moved by Wallace, supported by Perna. Any changes? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next item is public participation. This is the first opportunity for public participation for those who would like to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on an item which is on today's agenda. There'll also be a second opportunity for public participation for those who would like to speak on any issue. Would anyone from the public like to speak? Going once, twice. We'll close public participation. Next is appointments. We have a few appointments today. The Health Department Hearing Board, this is for Health Department recommendation with board concur. This is for one citizen at large, 2-year term to expire December 31st, 2026, and one alternate citizen at large, 2-year term to expire on December 31st, 2026. Citizen at large is Carolyn Thomas, and the alternate is Linda Jenuwine. And then we have the Civil Service Commission, executive appointment with board concur, one vacancy, 6-year term to expire on December 31st, 2029. Thomas Stawski, Jr. Ethics Board, executive appointment with board concur, one vacancy, partial term to expire on January 31st, 2029. Bryan Padgett. And the Ethics Board, executive appointment with board concur, one vacancy, 5-year term to expire on January 31st, 2030. James Stephen Kranjnik. That's a reappointment. So I will take a motion to concur with items 7A through 7D.
Motion to concur.
Support Van Sickle.
By Haas, supported by Van Sickle. Any questions? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Thank you for all of the appointees for your service to the county. I know who is actually here. I don't have it on my list here, but whoever is here, if you could please stand just so we know who is here.
Bryan Padgett.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, we'll move to our next item, which is proclamations. We have 4 proclamations that we're passing here today. I'll take a motion to adopt 8A through 8D.
Motion to adopt.
Support.
Moved by Gross, supported by Lucido. We have 4 proclamations here. One celebrating Richmond Lennox Emergency Medical Service on their 50th anniversary. Also proclamation honoring Sergeant Bates, Platoon C from Clinton Township, Martha T. Beardy for their 75th anniversary, and also a proclamation commending Henry Horner for achieving the status of Eagle Scout rank. Can we please vote on these 4, and then we will have some presentations.
Motion passes 13-0.
I believe Commissioner Kraft, you're first.
Commissioner Goike. I'm not flying solo on this one. Since you're half of it anyway. Come on up, you guys. All right, I'm going to do my best to look to the side and speak into the microphone, but I'm going to be brief. I want to congratulate the Richmond Lennox EMS on their 50th anniversary, 1975 till now. Congratulations on all your excellent work. So not only do they do emergency services, but they've also broadened their horizons to help senior citizens and any other folks that have doctor's appointments that they need travel to, and the very famous and very popular airport trips when available, when staff is available. That I know that's incredibly popular, and my predecessor, Commissioner Kathy Vosberg, has used that service and has told me rave reviews about that. So just want to congratulate the three of you and Jeff White, their fearless leader for the last, how many years? 30-ish years, yeah. Has been fantastic at the helm. They've worked with SMART. They've partnered with anybody they can partner with, and they continue to do fantastic work. And I want to congratulate them, and I want to turn the mic over to new Commissioner Ken Goike for a few words.
Thank you, Phil. And I want to thank the board for making this recognition for, I've known Mr. White for a long time, and I've given him criticism and I've given him accolades. They do a wonderful job, but it's just, with the people's money, and I'm very proud of the job that they do and happy to be presenting this award of, for the 50 years service and 30 for Jeff of doing this service with him and his staff. They're a wonderful asset to Macomb County, so thank you.
We got up in the office. Jeff, did you want to say anything? Just thank the board. You need a microphone for that, don't you?
So, on behalf of the 70 men and women that serve northern Macomb County as paramedics and the EMTs, and our transit team, to make things clear for the board, we don't use ambulances to get people to the airport, although it would be faster and more efficient sometimes. We do have a partnership with SMART where we provide that service, as well as service for seniors and the disabled throughout northern Macomb County. I just want to, like I say, on behalf of my entire staff, thank you for providing us this recognition. I want to take one moment and recognize our Township Supervisor from Richmond Township, Cindy Grenia, who is here with us today as well. She has been a long supporter of our operation during her many years of service to Richmond Township. So really, that's all I wanted to say today, other than thank you again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Commissioner Perna, are you presenting today as well? Floor is yours.
I don't know what most of us were doing on New Year's Eve. Am I correct? New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve.
December 31st. You might have read about it, heard about it, that there was a gentleman driving a vehicle on Hall Road, and he ended up turning into the apartment complex over at Heinrich, and he ended up in the pool or in the lake, in the pond. And Sergeant Bates, were you in the area at that time?
We were all pretty close by.
Pretty close. So this vehicle goes into the pond. He gets a call from your office, am I correct?
We got a call from dispatch.
You got a call, okay. So the vehicle is in the pond. Tell us what happened.
So we initially got a call, we got a call that there was a vehicle that had crashed into a pond over at the Harbor's Apartments. So immediately, the entire platoon started making their way there. Officer Celeste Smith was one of the first ones on scene. the calls originally came from the south side of the pond. So that's where she showed up first with a couple of our other patrols that arrived. She immediately made the decision that it would be easier to access the vehicle from the north side of the pond. So as I arrived, along with a couple other vehicles, we went around to the north side. As we were watching the vehicle, initially we didn't know if it was sinking or floating or resting on the bottom. We had no idea how deep it was. We pretty quickly determined that the vehicle was sinking. So at that point, myself and a few other officers removed our gear. I got into the water. Some of our other officers grabbed onto our rescue ropes and life jackets. Made my way out to the vehicle. Had to pull the driver out of the vehicle as the front windows were completely submerged. A few seconds after I got him out, the vehicle was under. And after that, I yelled back to our folks that were on the bank to start pulling us in with the lifeline that we had. They pulled us all the way back out to shore, and everything had a happy ending.
So I understand that the individual didn't want to leave the vehicle?
I think there was probably quite a bit of confusion on his part, so he just he initially kind of hesitated. I had to assist him out the window. So
He had no choice.
yeah, I wasn't giving him a choice. I didn't really feel like going under with the car too. So
Well, thank you for your endeavor. Is that part of the job training? Have you done that before for job training?
no. I mean, we train for different incidents, but there's no way to prepare for everything. So
Right.
just one of those things. We were in a spot where I figured I was the best one to go in for it. We had the equipment that we needed, and just started making it happen.
Well,
I didn't feel cold.
really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was adrenaline or me just thinking about other stuff, but I didn't feel cold that night. But it was about 30 degrees air temperature, so I'm sure it probably was cold.
Yeah. Well, beyond that, but in half of Clinton Township and Macomb County and the Board of Commissioners, this proclamation here is you did something that was outstanding, not part of your job responsibility. Congratulations for saving a life, perhaps. And how's the vehicle, by the way? Is it
Little moist.
a little moist?
Yeah. Yeah, it's out of the pond now, though, so
Sorry.
maybe dry by now.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
And we're.
Put the mic down.
All right, break it.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next is our committee recommendations. These recommendations have come from committees of the whole. These items that we're going to be going through here have already been discussed for all those here watching in full extent of all these items. Even though we're going to go through them pretty quickly, they were discussed at great length during these committees. So the first committee will be the Government Oversight Committee recommendations. I'll take a motion to approve items 9A through 9C and concur with 9D.
Support.
Made by Wallace, supported by Haw. Any discussion on these items? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next is the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee recommendations. I'll take a motion to approve items 10A through 10F.
Support.
Moved by Kraft, supported by Grote. Questions on these items? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next is Internal Services Committee recommendations. I'll take a motion to approve items 11A through 11F.
So move Van Sickle.
Moved by Van Sickle, supported by Lucido. Any questions? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next is item 12, Health and Human Services Committee recommendations. Take a motion to approve items 12A through 12E.
Motion approved, Lucido.
Support Van Sickle.
Moved by Lucido, supported by Zinner. Any questions? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Item 13 is Public Services Committee recommendations. Take a motion to approve items 13A through 13F.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Haas, supported by Romano. Seeing no questions, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next is Records and Public Safety Committee recommendations. I will take a motion to approve items 14A through 14E.
So moved.
By Romano, supported by Goyke. Any questions? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next is resolutions. I'll take a motion to adopt items 15A through 15D.
So moved.
Moved by Kraft, supported by Wallace. Any discussion on these items? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next is our board office update from our chief of staff, Crystal. I'll take a motion to receive and file.
Support. Or motion. Support.
Made by Howard, supported by Lucido. Crystal?
Good afternoon. I did provide a hard copy outline of the updates I'm going to go through. That should be at all of your seats. I did some general office updates. I forgot to mention last month, but we have been busy updating the guidebook. We print that every other year. It does go out to bid, and that bid closed today, so we will be reviewing those results, and we hope to send it to print early in March. Some updates on events. Volunteer recognition has been scheduled for April 15th. That has been added to the calendar and invitation sent. So whether you use your Outlook calendar or the link I sent you, it should be showing up on both. Nominations are being accepted through March 7th. Commissioners can nominate one person if they want. They don't have to. Once the nomination period is closed, we will compile the results and work with you to determine which two you want to recognize at our dinner reception. For green schools, that application period is currently open. Schools can apply through March 9th. Staff goes through and reviews those applications. They get scored based on the activities that they complete, and their score determines which status they receive for the school year. The Macomb County celebration at the MISD on April 25th has also been added to the calendar and invite sent. And then the Tri-County celebration at the Detroit Zoo is being held on May 1st. For Yoga at the Hill, we are still waiting for Freedom Hill to confirm their schedule. We're really hoping to get a Saturday in June. And once we receive that, we will start advertising ASAP. This is a little later than normal for us to be able to confirm that date. So hopefully we can still get one of the summer Saturdays. The Older Adult Advisory Committee meets next Tuesday in the committee room next door. Their topic that they'll be discussing next week is social isolation. And then in March, they will actually be meeting at the Clinton Township Senior Center. They are going to try to meet quarterly at a senior center in a different community. I will let Commissioner Zinner talk more about that committee when the board and commission updates are up, but I just wanted to make sure that the commissioners had those dates in front of them. That agenda was emailed to everybody this morning, and we will continue to do that every month so that it's an easy way for you to see what they've been working Student Government Day, as you know, was last January, the full board day of last month when we were here for full board. There was, excuse me, some post-event items we take care of, and then we do send out a survey that went out last week. And we asked them things such as what their favorite part of the day was, if they have any topics that they would suggest for future breakout sessions, if they attended, if they didn't, why not? And that's all stuff we take into consideration when we plan it for next year. I3, which will be our new civic clerk, they're currently building our product, and we meet up to a few times a week with them working on that. That's still on target for a spring rollout. IQ, our constituent management system, I know the numbers from that last month were lower than normal, but they've all doubled and tripled since then, so I would say they're even higher than they were prior to that. So we've had a lot of messages coming in through that. Hunch-free statistics since our January full board. They made changes to our website, which included adding the January newsletter, updating the older adult advisory committee schedule once that was adopted. They've added both ceremony information for green schools. They made all the necessary changes for volunteer recognition, and they keep our sliders updated. For example, right after Student Government Day, they update it with the winner, and then a month later when that gets old, they change it. We just added a new one for our meeting documents. Although it's pretty easy to find on our page, we had received a couple calls where people weren't sure exactly where to go, so we added that as a slider to see if that would help. The social media, those posts are lower than normal. I would say we typically average about one a day every month, but they were pretty popular because our comments, shares, and clicks increased. I will use this as a time to remind commissioners, if you have attended an event and you have a photo and you want to send us that with a brief description, we'd be happy to share that on our social media page. And if you already are sharing that on your social media page and you're comfortable with us just grabbing that to save you that step, if you could just send us a message in writing that you're comfortable with that, we would be happy to do that. Huntree also, as you know, covered our Student Government Day. After the event, they go back and edit all the photos. They add the gallery to our website. They did a really cool reel that had labels for each part of the day as it transitioned through the different events. And then they made all the necessary website updates and follow-up posts. They also covered the Macomb County Chamber annual meeting, and they are here today for your group photo and any final headshots, and they will be at the economic forecast tomorrow. What we are currently working on with them is the March newsletter and the individual video highlights with commissioners. So many of you probably recall a couple years ago when we did the Meet Your Commissioner videos. Working with Chair Sabatini, he wanted to try to find something new we could do, especially for those of you who had already recorded a video like that. So what we're proposing is to have the commissioners highlight something in their community, whether it be a location or an event, maybe a festival or a park, and we can arrange to meet you there. And you can do a short little video highlighting that place, and then you can talk a little bit about yourself and your community. So we're hoping this would be maybe more natural for the commissioners, more engaging for the public, and it allows the commissioners to highlight something that they want to in their community. So if you have something like that in mind, please let us know and we can work on arranging that. If not, we will be emailing you to try to set something up and help you come up with an idea on what we can do. And those videos we will probably run maybe once a month. We'll post a different commissioner just slowly throughout the year. And then just some final reminders. For March's Reading Month, if any commissioners want to read at a school and you haven't already had staff make those arrangements, please let us know. We could probably try to still fit you in. As I mentioned last month, the CMH board applications are due March 4th. We do have several applications already. I did send a follow-up email, so hopefully everybody saw that provided the current makeup of that board and which terms were expiring. So if you need any other information, let me know. As I mentioned last month, Commissioner Kraft is the CMH Board Chair, Commissioner Wallace is on the board also. So you will be, the interviews will be at the March Government Oversight, and you'll be making the appointments at the March full board meeting. The MAC conference is in April. We are finalizing the reservations for that right now, so if you miss the deadline to staff, we could still probably squeeze you in, but please let us know before you leave today. And then a final reminder, as I mentioned with the sliders a few minutes ago, anything up and coming for the public, we put on those sliders. So if you have somebody who wants to apply for the CMH board or wants to nominate a volunteer, the easiest way we always tell them to do that is to go to our homepage and watch for the slider and then click on it, and it'll take them right to the page with that information. So then they're not having to navigate through. So we always try to keep that content, the current content that the public will need. So that's, I probably haven't included everything I wanted to because I feel like that just scratches the surface of what we've been working on. But if there's anything I didn't list that you want me to talk about, please let me know, or I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Crystal. Any questions for Crystal? Okay, Crystal, all set. Thank you for the update. I have a motion on the floor. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next is public participation. This is the second opportunity for public participation for those who would like to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any issue. Anyone from the public like to speak? 3 minutes.
Just don't break it, Monica. Thank you. I'm a little short.
Oh, that's okay, I get it. This thing is a little long.
Hold the base while you move the.
Yeah. Okay, just the top part. There you go.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, Chairman Sabatini, members of the commissions, and Representative of Roseville, Mr. Harold Ha. I'm Monica Troniak, and I live in Roseville. I'm here with deep concerns about the potential cuts to essential county services stemming from the current and anticipated federal budget cuts. As you know, numerous county programs are funded partially through federal money. For example, the budgeting for the new Central Intake and Assessment Center includes money from the Federal American Rescue Act. Other grant funding for essential initiatives that are at risk for being diminished include Planning and Economic Development, MDOT, Area Agency on Aging, and Community Block grants. Commissioner Harold Ha has been a great supporter of projects affecting the residents of Roseville, which were funded in part by the federal government. I'm particularly thankful for the work of the Macomb County Drain Commission and SPART Transportation Services. I ask that members of this board stand together and advocate fiercely in support of continuing the current level of federal funding for county services that are in jeopardy due to cuts in the federal assistance. Thank you for your attention and considering my concerns.
Would anyone else from the public like to speak?
Chair, if I may, I'd like to violate policy without objection. Monica, I want to apologize. I didn't recognize you on the elevator. I didn't have my glasses on. I was talking to Ken and the treasurer simultaneously. So welcome to the meeting. Thank you.
Seeing no one else from the public, we will close public participation. Next is other board commission updates. Commissioners, this is a new item that I added to the agenda that we'll keep on here going forward. So many of us are part of other boards and or commissions that we sit on. So we've added this item on the agenda so that we can update ourselves here on a monthly basis. So going forward, this will be the opportunity for you to enlighten the rest of your colleagues on anything that you can bring back to us. And we'll leave it at that. Rather than doing this in commissioner comments, because that'll kind of drift and we'll go on tangents, we made this a special item. So let me see, we've any updates today? Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. I have something from the Older Adults Advisory Committee that I'd like to speak on. We're working on a concern brought to us by Tom Matthews. I think he spoke here before. It is on the social isolation for older adults. However, with the information that's been brought forth to us, there is really not an age that is not affected by social isolation. Other age of adults are affected by social isolation, including Gen Z. According to the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, he has put on quite a campaign since 2023 addressing this concern. There are concerns, and there are great concerns in all kinds of areas for people, especially hitting for older adults. The OAC's goal is to make citizens aware that there is outreach and that the county has, we are concerned about reaching them and letting them know that there are places that they can talk to people about any concerns that they have, and we can't solve problems for them and address their needs. Especially if they want, being aware that there are senior centers. We're not sure how many people really don't address those. Just meeting their needs, letting them know that we are here for them. And will be further updates on that specific thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to bring up, I know Crystal spoke about the MAC conference that's coming up. If you haven't had a chance to register, please do so. If we can fit you in, I would advise that you go. We are changing things up, a new style that the conference will be held, and how we have our breakout sessions. So I hope that you would, if you haven't been before, especially our new commissioners, if you haven't been, just think about it quickly before you leave today and talk to Crystal to get on that list. I would be more than happy to see you there.
Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was hoping Commissioner Wallace would talk about CMH, but I guess I'm going to have to do that. Some brief highlights and lowlights. We continue to go through constant change. We had a new CEO that we appointed, and then we gave her another contract for this year. She's been doing a fantastic job. And as Crystal mentioned, we do have appointments coming up next month. We have 4, every year we have 4 positions open. As far as I know, 2 of those folks are reapplying and 2 could be wide open. So we could be having 2 new board members too, which I think will be very nice, very welcomed. We also obviously have our challenges, as do the rest of the CMHs and the PIHPs around the state. Some have decided to sue the Department of Health and Human Services. We have not taken that route. We are in constant conversation with them, and we're basically battling over millions of dollars, whether we get them or not. So there's a lot going on, a lot of fires happening. I'm lucky to have Commissioner Wallace with me on that board. But we do, at the end of the day, we do have a great board. We are there for the right reasons to help the people that we serve. And that's basically how we base all of our decisions. So I couldn't be happier to have the team that we do to work for the folks that we have here in this county that need our help. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Howard.
Well, first, thank you for adding this. This is super helpful to get a better understanding of what all we do, because we do a lot as a commission. I talked to Chair, and I'll be part of the Veterans Treatment Court with District Court 41B, and they had their Veterans Treatment Court graduation today down in one of the other buildings. I get confused, which I got lost in the tunnel. But I went in there not really knowing what to expect, and it was one of the most encouraging things I've done all year. To see men and women that have fought for our freedoms to sit in these seats, get the help and the resources they need. It was such an inspiration. And so we're putting together a cohort to talk about how we better can serve our veterans here in Macomb County, because we have some of the best veteran services here. But when veterans aren't plugged in, there's a disconnect. And so we're working on trying to plug those gaps to make sure we can reach all the veterans in our district. And so putting that together, and I think our first meeting is next month.
Great. Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. We heard staff say that March is reading month, and I encourage all you commissioners, if you have the opportunity, it'll be in your district, and staff will set it up for you. I think this is my 5th consecutive year, and I usually go from grade 5 all the way down to probably 2 or 1. And it's a blast. The schools appreciate it. The kids have a good time. You have a good time. So if you haven't had the opportunity or haven't done it yet, I really strongly encourage you to contact staff. Let them set it up with your school district somewhere in one of your school districts, and read to the kids. They really enjoy it. On another note, I wanted to mention to the commissioners, the newer ones weren't here at the time, but probably, I'm going to say, if you guys remember, you were kind enough to allocate $25,000 for a traffic signal over at Havel Elementary in Sterling Heights, if you recall that. We all, 25 from us, 25 from Road Commission, 25 from city, 25 from the school district. Well, I'm happy to say that light still isn't up. Now, that's been, I'm going to say conservatively, 6 months. So hopefully, maybe by the end of the school season, I'm looking at Mr. JP sitting back there. Maybe you can give us an update on that, Mr. Ria. Could you come up here and give us an update on it? I'm sure the commission would like to know why that money's been sitting in abatement for all this time and what's going on. Putting you on the spot, JP.
It's all right, Commissioner, here for your service, sir. Appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Our Department of Roads has been coordinating not only with the city of Sterling Heights, but also with Utica Community Schools on the installation. We have the final drawings that were approved, as I updated you in the email last week, and the team is looking at a March installation that will coincide with when the frost laws are lifted on that end. The issue is with the extension of some electrical conduit that we're putting in there to have a closer safe zone to the entrance that the school is building with some other capital improvements that they're doing later this spring.
So we should see you sometime in March telling us that we have a destination date.
Mission accomplished, sir.
Cross your heart and hope to die, stick a needle in your eye.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, JP. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Joel will tell us if it's not.
Commissioner Goyke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As most of you know, I represent District 1. We have very few at the top end of it, police departments. So District 1 is a little bit of Shelby, Washington, Bruce, Armada Ray, and Richmond Townships. Well, the villages do have their own police department. Right now, Washington Township is contemplating about having more police service, which they pay the sheriff department extra money. You know, we're probably wanting to put on maybe 2 mills to cover that. We do not really have state police. It's very, shoddy for them to come around. And then the patrol cars, Washington Township does have, they pay the millage and have the extra police in the north end. Lennox is not part of my district, but they also pay it, but the other communities do not. So Washington, Ray, Armada, and Richmond are basically on islands without, full-time police coverage by anybody. So just to make an aware notice, that's what they're looking at, about maybe raising millages to actually hire the sheriff department like they do in the city of Mount Clemens, Harrison Township, Macomb Township, and there in Washington Township. So just to put it on your radar of something that's going on. Thank you.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. I'm one of the two representatives to SEMCOG. The next SEMCOG General Assembly meeting is going to be at the remodeled train station downtown. And if anybody's been wondering what that looks like or would like to attend that, you're welcome to attend. The SEMCOG meetings are open. And they're going to have tours of the facility, so that might be interesting. Also in the future, I wasn't prepared for this today, but also in the future, SEMCOG has a great deal of information available on their website about all kinds of subjects from traffic to biking to types of peoples or types of populations around in the different areas. And so I'll try to highlight one of those areas in each of the coming months. I also go to Ageways. Ageways used to be AAA 1B, and they renamed themselves to Ageways. Nothing exciting going on there. They're just sort of ongoing. And yesterday I attended the DIA board meeting downtown. That was very interesting. Mr. Leonetti has been appointed to the board. I guess you were on the board another time.
Nope, this is my first year as a director on the Detroit Institute of Arts.
And so we're proud to have Macomb County being represented by Mr. Leonetti on the board. And congratulations to that. And I'll remind you that the DIA, per the millage, will arrange for group, not individual, but group bus transportation down and back. And I'm not sure if they actually will guide a tour. I believe it's all self-guided tours at that point, but those are ongoing. And that's it, more in the future.
Vice Chair Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Since we've had some retirement, excuse me, issues of late, I thought I would give an update on the retirement boards that I'm currently sitting on. Our Macomb County planned assets are currently sitting at $1.2 billion with a 5-year return of almost 9%, with our investment growth being at $438 million over that same period of time. Our healthcare board has planned assets of almost $530 million, with a 5-year return of almost 10%, with our investment growth at $181 million. Our IRMBT board has planned assets of $293 million, with a 5-year return of over 9%, with investment growth of $126 million, while spending down over $124 million towards debt repayment and annual health care funding. That puts us within the 93% peer group. That's because our hedge funds and our small cap investments, like everybody else's in the country, have gone down. All 3 plans are monitored closely and maintain their compliance with our investment policy statement and Public Act 314. So all funds are doing very well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Groom.
Thank you. I am sitting on Macomb Orchard Trail, beautiful trails that starts at Richmond, Commissioner Goyke District, and ends at Shelby. I usually say there's the other way around because I am from Shelby. We have our meeting set up for this Tuesday in the Shelby Township Senior Center. We have Macomb we have a presentation from Planning and Economic Department. And I hope JP is going to join us for updates on the trails. Okay. And thank you, commissioners, for including $150,000 in our budget for some updates on the trails. So we will try to make good recommendation for Department of Road to do some work on the trails that is needed. Please join me for rides in the summer when the snow melts. It's beautiful there. Maybe we can organize something like Crystal said, that some events. That could be one of them. So just saying, beautiful trails maintained by our Department of Roads. They're doing fantastic job maintaining, and so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, we'll move on to Commissioner comments. Mr. Wallace.
This Saturday is the Macomb Celebration of Black Excellence Gala. I usually mention it way beforehand, and I didn't. But Commissioner Lucido will be joining me. I do have a couple of extra seats at my table. If anyone else wants to dress up and have a good time with us, feel free to let me know. But it is this Saturday. I believe it starts at 6. I could text you the information. I don't really know. I just kind of show up. But I do have a couple extra seats if you would like to join me. That's it.
Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quickly, obviously, we've had a ton of snow, and I just want to commend our roads department for all the work that they've done over the past week. I've obviously been on the road quite a bit, and I can tell you that of all the counties I've driven through, ours has been the most well taken care of, and I just want to commend our department, and I hope our deputy executives in the crowd take my positive feedback back to the crew, because they've done a lot of work in a short amount of time, even in the subdivisions. And I can tell you, all my neighbors were giving me a lot of grief until a plow truck came down the road, and now the fireworks are going off. So I just want to thank our crews for working day and night to keep our roads clean and safe. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Can we echo those comments? Next adjournment. Need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Support.
Moved by Haw, supported by Howard.
All right, that's twice.
Please vote. Have a good rest.
Keep it direct.